You're listening to Peerless Industry Radio, your source for educational content on the cutting edge of industrial process solutions. Today, we'll be covering a discussion on what you'll see from this podcast in the future, and we hope to key you in to who Peerless is and what we can do. During our episodes, expect to hear informative discussions from experts in their field as we talk about the different aspects of today's industrial landscape. Before we get into the episode, this podcast is produced by Peerless Inc., a company defined by more than the products we supply. Based in Western New York and serving customers around the country, we are an ISO 9001 certified organization in our quality management system, providing reliable on-time quotes and deliveries that supply our customers with the quick turnaround times they need. Expect our efficient service process to provide quality kits shipped directly to your facility with all the proper documentation for any compliance standard. Peerless also brings to the table 3D CAD and CAM services from our expert application engineering support team. We utilize advanced ERP and MRP systems for a streamlined and AML-friendly experience to every one of our clients. We are Peerless, where ideas meet solutions. I'm James Lamb, your host for today, and joining us will be Kevin Renaud, Vice President of Business Development here at Peerless, and a 15-year veteran of the company, with a diverse professional background spanning from management and sales to collegiate instruction. He's a core member of our team, knowledgeable on all things process components and the services they require. Also joining us this episode will be Dan Morgan, a Clarkson University mechanical engineering graduate who leads our engineering and quality management teams and has 11 years of experience upholding our services and products to the highest standard.
Hello, Kevin, and welcome, Dan. Thank you for coming on the show to talk to us today.
Hey, James. Good to be here.
Hello, James. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Dan.
To give our audience a little more perspective on who we have with us today, can you each give us a bit more about what your role is at Peerless?
Wow. As you mentioned in the introduction, I've been here 15 years. Basically, I was brought on in the sales capacity, and I was responsible for working with mainly our MRO accounts. But over the years, small company-ish, had a chance to change roles and kind of grow through the company. And right now, I find myself working on a lot of the more complex projects with some of our OEM customers for the most part that do build challenging projects for a lot of the global energy projects as well as water infrastructure. So that is something that still drives me. I also lead a team of people that do work more directly with the customers on an inside and an outside sales perspective. So that's just a little bit about me here at work.
Yeah. So as James said in the intro a little bit, I have been here for almost 11 years, about 10 and a half. I'm the engineering manager. I've been working closely with Kevin for that entire span. So together, we've seen a lot of different types of projects, broad spectrum of end users and different products and applications. So another thing that I've done over that course of time is managing our quality management system. So what that gives me is a little bit of an understanding maybe of like how our operations and our efficiency and excellency can play hand in hand and serve as like an extension of your operations. Obviously supply chain, success in a healthy and competent supply chain is critical to your projects and your implementation. So with all that, I hope I've got some experiences and some insights that will add a little value to the conversation. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting into this new medium here and interacting with some colleagues and partners and customers in a different way.
So in regards to some content that we have created in the past, in 2020, Peerless had run an e-learning webinar series that you each have been a part of. Can you tell us what kind of information was covered and how someone might be able to access that?
Yeah. First, I think it's important to discuss a little bit more about why it came about. Last year, naturally, it was about a year ago when we all packed up our offices for what we thought would be a couple of weeks. And certainly it's been anything but. So we were struggling with concepts and ways to stay current and relevant with our customers. We were no longer able to jump in a car or hop on a plane to go visit them. So we had to manufacture some ways that we could maintain that proximity and stay close to them. So what we decided to do was to launch this weekly series of what we called Peerless eLearnings. And the thought was that each week we would have a industry veteran, someone knowledgeable in a specific product type or business challenge. And what we ended up doing was not only inviting our customers, but we decided to get as big as we could with it. And what we found is that we developed quite a loyal following over the course of the year. It was a growing list daily, which told us what we were doing was on point. And we got ourselves in front of some people that we never would have imagined getting ourselves in front of. So now we have, I think, 25 of them up on our website right now that can be viewed in our training and resources section on our website. And they do get a lot of looks. So we're proud to have brought that information to these folks.
I know when we first, the first couple of them, Kevin, as you can remember, if you could see what the finished recording was, if you could see everything that went and led up to that moment that we hit go on the webinar, it was pretty frantic in the beginning. So it was definitely something new and something we had to figure out on the fly a little bit. But after we got it all figured out, I thought it was great. I certainly learned a ton personally, just kind of, being there and partially hosting and just being able to learn and kind of soak up all that stuff from the various, partners and manufacturers we had on there. So yeah, it was really great.
Well, given the new digital experiences that are being created and the push with that, going forward with this podcast, how would you like to expand on what you've already done with the webinar series, but in this new format?
I think the biggest difference is our e-learnings were very product centric. We had an industry expert come in on flow meters or valves or Canadian registration. And they would go through a series of training events that people could spend 45 minutes of time. They could check in, they could check out, and they would learn more about that specific product type. Whereas this is going to be a little bit more macro level. We're going to have more industry veterans that can discuss leadership, strategy, management styles, the changing landscape and what we're seeing out there and what we see ahead. So it's going to be a very different flavor to what we do every day. And Dan, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Just that, we're going to hopefully try to keep it entertaining as well. The webinars were, of course, entertaining, provided a ton of content, a ton of granular level details that you could really take away as something of value that you got out of it, which you're hopefully going to get here too. But yeah, we're going to try to keep it entertaining. You'll get a little sense of, who we are personality wise as a company, the culture that Kevin talked about earlier. And yeah, some of the other people, our partners, some other folks from around the industry, just kind of getting a general sense, and yeah, hopefully take your mind off things for a little while and tune in as you drive home or eat lunch or whatnot, and hopefully have a good time with it.
And on that same note, there will be some where we'll be doing the hosting. Dan and I have definitely done a couple of the e-learnings. So again, we've seen a lot over our time here, and we do think that we can bring something of value to the conversation here. So there will be days when we're hosting internally.
Well, that's great. It's good to do that. We know to expect that kind of variety. As far as the content of the episodes, in an additional note, who are the kind of guests that we can expect to see from the industry going forward with these podcasts?
Well, we're smart enough to know that we don't know everything we need to know, but our situation, our position in the role we play with our customers and suppliers, we have access to a tremendous amount of very talented, very bright people in many different roles, whether it's consulting, again, leadership, management, quality, engineering. We do have quite a network of friends of Peerless that we plan on bringing in. So we're going to be excited to get rolling on this.
Yeah, and if we're not bringing someone out from the outside, like Kevin said, we've got application engineers, customer service individuals, people that, work here at Peerless that, have some experience and can pull on the things that we've learned and have seen and have been a part of over the years to kind of bring that to life here and, provide that in this manner and, hopefully give you some value and education and expand what we've learned to you.
So with that content information in mind and the fact that the podcast is just starting, who is kind of the audience that these episodes will be sort of geared towards?
So I think it's mostly really just someone who's got a natural sense of curiosity. They've got an appetite for learning. You want to engage and have kind of a deeper dialogue about products that you're used to working with, about the industry that we work in, about manufacturing in general, market conditions. I would imagine that a lot of the people that will listen to this are going to be people who, when something in their home breaks, their washing machine, whatever it is. This just happened to me the other day, which is why I bring up that example. But people that want to lift the hood or lift the base off the washing machine and look inside and really try to figure out what went wrong and kind of understand the inner workings. Not like necessarily that you would need to be a mechanic or, a craftsman, but really it's just that sense of, wanting to have a deeper understanding or a deeper meaning and ask the why. So, we're not really going to be handing out engineering credits for these talks, for these discussions, but the hope is really that you walk away with a deeper understanding of something, whether it be a product or some sort of industry topic. Another aspect of this, and it's maybe why you're asking yourself, like, why Peerless? It's that maybe that there's like a different consideration or approach to the typical supplier-customer relationship. Something that's beyond just transactional, sterile, sometimes even hostile series of interactions. So really kind of seeing the supplier relationship as something that can be strategic. And when engaged properly, you can, kind of get it gives you an opportunity for, growth or progression. So yeah, hoping this is kind of an entry point into that sort of mindset.
With that being said about the company, with anyone wanting to know more about Peerless as an organization, what kind of products and services could people expect to see from Peerless?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. There is no limit to the numbers of entities that sell the same stuff that we sell every day. We like to say it's the way we do it, and it's the how and the why, not the what. But at the base, we are a manufacturer of metal hoses and chemical hose assemblies. We also are a distributor for a lot of valve product, instrumentation, expansion joints, specialized flanges and fittings. So really, if you looked at inside a chemical plant, all the stuff that the fluid and the gas, the media would run through, the pipes, the valves, the fittings. And again, on its own, it's not very glamorous. And none of us here signed up to just sell parts. That's not what we do. So it really is. We do focus on, to Dan's point, he couldn't have said it any better, about that, the value of a really interesting and collaborative supplier-customer relationship and how beneficial they can be when everyone's in agreement that that's the way to go. So valves, hoses, instrumentation, fittings. And again, it's the how we do it that we love.
Yeah. So don't be alarmed if you ask us for a line card and we say, we don't really have one of those. For all those reasons that Kevin just said, we do have one, but yeah, it's not what we hand out when we first meet you.
Right.
Well, we covered a wide range of topics and subjects today in relation to Peerless as a company and what to expect with the podcast going forward. So that'll just about wrap things up. Based on what we talked about, what's an important idea you'd like listeners or viewers to walk away with?
Well, I guess for me, we're just glad that you're here and you're participating and engaging with us in this way. It's obviously new for us, all of us, but we really do think there's some value that we're going to be able to present here. Having these types of dialogues, and I guess really just keeping an open mind about what a supplier or partner can sort of be for you. I know that we always learn a lot when we get some exposure to, or when one of our customers or partners, shares a little bit more about what's behind the curtain in their world. So that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, and I think if there was something, Dan, you said something earlier about the customer supplier relationship, and you used the word hostile. And I think it's interesting because it can be like that, and it never should be like that. And I think it's easy to say when you're different, right? But I've got a bit of an interesting, diverse background. This is my third and final career. And I can feel the difference here. And we mentioned the people before, and I hope that throughout this, we get a chance to expose some of our people because it is a pretty neat place to be a part of every day. And I hope that comes through.
Well, thank you both for your responses, your perspective, and your time, and for joining me here today.
It's been great.
Right.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, James. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Take care.
This concludes today's episode of Peerless Industry Radio. We hope you've grown more informed about Peerless and gained an idea of what to expect from this podcast in upcoming episodes. I've been your host, James Lamb, and the speakers this episode have been Kevin Renaud and Dan Morgan. To learn more information about what was covered in today's show, see the description accompanying this recording for any links to additional materials. If you are listening to the audio version of this podcast and want to engage with us more online, check out the Peerless Inc. YouTube channel, where you can see as well as hear any future productions. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to reach out and contact us through our website or on any social media platform. Your feedback is very important to us. From everyone here at Peerless, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time on Peerless Industry Radio.